Compromise.
Compromise.
It's a big one.
The art of compromise, how we've navigated agreements or disagreements. And I know my perspective, but what's yours? So today we're talking about how compromise is obviously essential to a healthy relationship. It's challenging because when you first come into a relationship or when you first got married, we didn't know how to compromise, and neither one of us felt like compromising. It was more like, hey,
it's a battle.
I'm used to running my own life. You're used to running yours. We're doing it my way.
Yeah, you're not going to tell me what to do.
Yeah, you're not going to tell me what to do, you know, so we both shared some of that. Yeah. It was tough in the beginning, but now I think we can see a different pattern, and you have to learn how to compromise if you want the relationship to survive, flourish, or whatever, or make it to what's in 2 weeks
30
going to
years.
be 30 years for us.
It's crazy. Yeah, and it's so important because if you can't compromise, I mean, how happy can your marriage be if you're just at a constant battle with each other? I mean, there's always got to be a time where you got to, you know, just suck it up and let it go, you know, whatever the argument might be.
I've been trying to tell you this forever.
Yeah. I think
just suck it up and give me my way.
And just let you do it. Yeah, exactly. And of course, nobody wants to give up. You know, everybody wants their way. I mean, that's just normal. But I know one of ours, like a big thing was maybe kids and disciplining your kids and compromising on certain things, and everything I don't think was always done right when they were young, whatever, but feel like we
didn't do a perfect job.
No, we did not. Who does? Anyway, and like we said too, we have discussed before, but like I was saying, reading moods of each other. If you're wanting to have a discussion and you come home stressed and had a stressful day, and I'm just gonna leave something alone at the time until, you know, I feel like you're in a better mood to receive whatever I have to tell you or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, clearly if you have a big conversation you need to have, but what about, you know, that's one thing, that's one layer of it. So if you have a big conversation you need to have, then obviously be attentive to when you have that conversation, because if it's just any time and you just come, so for example, you know, me in the morning, you know, that's my time. And that's my time of silence where I read, I do my morning routine, whatever. I sip my hot cup of coffee and I come alive, and I just, you know, I go through my 5 minutes of gratitude, whatever. That's my time. If you get up during that time, that's why I have to get up at 3 a.m. to make sure that you're not up yet. Okay, not that early.
No.
5-ish. But if I don't get up before you, or you come barreling out, it's just like, oh, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. Oh, hey, by the way, did so-and-so tell you that? Oh, hey, did one of the girls do this? And when are we going to do this? And what time do we? And I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's so true. I know.
Yeah.
It's because when I get up, I'm like, I'm just awake and ready and whatever. It's just how I am.
But the problem is, you want to solve all the world's problems that's in your head.
Yes.
And you expect everybody just to be there
to be ready to do it too.
To do so. And I am not.
Right.
I don't care.
And the girls are the same. They usually like, Mom. They want everybody likes quiet in the morning.
Mom, lay off.
Yeah, and I'm more like, I'm just ready to talk.
Mom, go have a conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
So timing is important.
Yes.
So like when you come to me and you start throwing stuff at me like that, I mean, what do? Usually it's just a look.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not ready for this right now.
Yeah.
It's not the right time. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah. And it's even sometimes when I'm in the middle of reading something and you just fire at me, and instead of saying, hey, you got a second?
Yeah.
And then you get upset because I'm not listening. Well, of course I wasn't listening because I was doing something else. So timing is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some things you've compromised on, you think?
Everything.
Oh my God.
Everything.
Yeah.
My entire life has been a compromise for you.
You have compromised a lot. But I feel like time is something that we compromised, or I had to, we both did, I guess. Just early when you were starting to revamp the business and do all these things, and you were just never home. And it was like an understanding. It's still a compromise, but knowing you had to do what you had to do. But I had to be like, okay, you're not going to be home. You're never here. It was just me all the time. And that was hard, but it was a compromise we had to make for the better, of the business. But
so, I think the younger you are, and we were pretty immature because we were young, but I think the younger you are, the more fight you have in you, and the longer it takes to kind of settle down and realize, look, if we want to coexist, we have to learn to compromise a little bit.
Yes.
Now, I'll think it through a little bit, before I make a final decision on something that you're passing to me, or some kind of question or comment or anything that you're throwing my way. But I don't process it in a second because it's not something that, was mine. You've already thought on it all that time and then brought it to me and given it to me in an instant and want an instant decision. Well, I don't make decisions that way. I just don't. So you need that time to process. And then usually so my first response is always like, no way, no. Why would we do that? If it's something that, is a more time-consuming or a challenging decision that I disagree with. But usually after I have a moment to think on it, I always come around, and I always want you to, be able to do what you want to do or whatever else, and vice versa. But the initial response is sometimes, if there's a pressure on it, then it causes the wrong response because it's too much pressure behind it. You don't get time. Instead of, giving somebody a second. So one of the greatest lessons I've learned is don't come at your spouse expecting an instant decision to something that you just blindsided them with a question or something that, takes some thought, and you expect an instant answer. So, and I teach this at work too, to our folks. I say, look, when you're coming in, you've been dealing with a problem for, 5, 10, 20 days, maybe hours, minutes, whatever. But you've already wrapped your mind all around this. You've got all this thought into it and all this processing time. And then you come to somebody, and in a second, you expect them to be on the same page at the same level and have all the same, information to be able to process it. But you've already processed it. It's unfair to ask somebody to make a decision that quick. So when you're compromising, you got to give the person time to have a compromise instead of just go your way or be irritated because they didn't agree with you. Yeah, exactly. And I remember telling the girls that as they were growing up, as they got older, is if they'd be upset because you told them no about something, and I said just wait, just let them just give them a little bit, give them a day or whatever, and sometimes you'd just come around. Almost always. Yeah, depending on what it was, but most of the time it just all you needed is a little bit of time. And it's just always that initial, and they'd be so upset. I'm like, just wait. The funny thing is, I have told them, I've given them the keys to get their way. I've given them the golden ticket to get their way. I'm like, look. All you have to do, you can't come blast me with something like, Dad, can I go with my friends to this area that I know is maybe not the best area or something, that you're out of place, or, that you shouldn't be driving, or it's a complicated area to drive in, or whatever the variable may be. You just come at me, Dad, I want to go here. Is that okay? Right. And then in an instant, because I don't say, yeah, okay, you're mad. Not you, the kids. They would be mad and upset with me. And I'm like, look, you can't come at me like that. You've got to let me process it and see how I feel about it, because I'm trying to protect you and I'm trying to make the best decision I can. But it's not an instant for me. Otherwise, if you put the pressure on, it's a hard no. Right. It's just no. Okay, you want to fight and pout and battle? Then no. Yeah, exactly. And that's how my response is. Yeah. But I almost every time, I'm always an advocate for them and want them or you to be able to do the things, we support each other and love each other. So you want that for the other person, but you've got to learn to compromise. So it's not just us. I know we're talking about the art of compromise in a marriage and, how we've done that over 30 years, but it's also with our kids too. Oh, yeah. Now with our adult kids, it's even more because, they're more challenging. Yeah. For sure. And I was trying to think of just different ways, different other things that are more trivial, I guess. But
a big thing of compromising in a marriage is sometimes doing stuff that isn't really your thing to do, but just to spend time together, do it. You know, like, for instance, going to hardware stores with you and car dealers or different things like that. You know, like, I will go, even though it's not always my thing.
So that's when you're compromising? I'm trying to get you out of the house.
I know.
I was thinking of you.
You were, but I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things where it's not always like, yeah, let's just go to the hardware store.
You know, it's fun.
But it's a compromise that I make to spend time together.
What woman doesn't love to go to the hardware store?
I'm sure a few. But it's about spending time with you. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, so that's a little thing, but I mean, sometimes those little things make a big difference because it's not like, and I know you've done a lot of things that you don't really want to do just to support me or hang out with me, whatever it might be, but that's just part of marriage, is just those little things matter also.
So, you know,
compromise.
I would say this, guys, listen to this part if you hear nothing else.
Oh man.
Look, there are things that you're going to have to do that you don't definitely like or enjoy. You know, like maybe toting your wife around so they can walk in some clothing stores.
Going shopping, he does not like to shop.
It's the worst experience in the world. But here's what I know. If I do some of those things, then I'm depositing into that account that, you know, she's going to repay and remember the things I did for her. And I don't know, sometimes that comes out in some good ways.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you got to wait and see. But that's a good thing, yes.
Yeah, so, you know, you just have to do what you have to do. It can't be one way. And if it's only stuff that you like, or it's only stuff that, you know, you want your way, then that becomes a tough relationship.
Right, it's going to be a battle all the time.
Yeah.
And that's no fun for anyone to feel like you don't feel. And I was thinking about this when we were talking about compromising and the different things, is those little things, like you're saying, it makes the other feel loved and supported and like you care. It matters what you like, or, you know, what they like. So if I'm going to the hardware store with you because I know you like doing that, it's showing you that I care, and I just want to hang out with you, even though it might not be my first choice of something to do.
Yeah, because we've even had conversations before where it's like, you know, raising 4 daughters, there's no guys. I'm the only guy all the time for the last 30 years.
Almost 30 years, yeah.
So, you know, I'm like, hey, going to the hardware store, I'm going to Lowe's, go wherever.
Yep.
Who wants to go?
It's crickets.
Nobody? Yeah. Like, hey, going to, you know, the gun shop. Who wants to go?
Yeah, that was on my list too, the gun shop. Yeah.
I'm like, come on, guys, what's wrong with you? How can you not love this stuff?
Yeah. Well, when you start doing that and you're like, come on, nobody. And then so someone.
Yeah, I have to make somebody feel guilty. And usually it's my youngest because she's so sweet. And she'll just go out of guilt.
Yes.
And then usually wondered what she's going to.
Our third daughter would go but she tried to bribe her way to get something out of it.
Always. Yeah.
Always. She's notorious for that.
Yeah. She was pretty
spoiled,
She's pretty crafty. Yeah, but the point is, so yeah, they would never go anywhere, and I would have to, you know, be like, hello, anybody? And then I would get some people once in a while who would just go with me for a guilt trip. Not like I'm going walking through clothing stores, which is terrible. I was going far something. I don't go there to just wander.
Yeah.
Now the gun shop, I enjoy just wandering and stuff and, you know, browsing and shopping, I guess.
Yeah.
But, you know, or sporting goods and some different stores like that. I enjoy, you know, look, it's just guy stuff. I don't know. But yeah, so you have to compromise sometimes.
It's just important, you know, to bring it home. Just talking about to have a happy, successful marriage, compromise is a huge part of that.
Yeah. So if you want to win, it's the only way that you can ever grow together. That you can coexist. Because if it's always like this, because your way or my way, it never works. And sometimes, even though you disagree, you just got to decide if it's worth the battle. Right. That's what I say. You got to pick your battles, and sometimes it's not worth it. Just close your mouth, and you know what you feel, and they know what they feel, and just let it go. It's not worth it. That's good advice. It is good advice. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we got. That's part of how we've learned to survive for 30 years. And, you have to compromise, and you have to learn to do something for the other person, even though you really don't want to sometimes, but just know that you're depositing into that account, and you are planting seeds saying that, I love you, I care about the things that you care about, I don't necessarily agree, but next time when it comes around and you don't agree with me, there you go.
Exactly, remember.
Yeah, it takes two. We'll see you next time.